So we're good? I think we're good.
It looks good.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for coming or watching my first YouTube live. I'll be drawing a Venomized Captain America. This is a commission I got a few weeks ago. Just getting around to doing this now. I wanted to make sure I had something cool to draw for my first stream. Pencils have been finished. I'm going to show you in a second. So today I'll just be inking and coloring for you guys. It'll probably take about an hour, just over an hour, I think. But if you have any questions or comments or anything, please, feel free to write in, and I'll do my best to answer the questions. We're gonna have probably some Japanese people here as well, so it's gonna be a mix of English and Japanese. And any Japanese questions, I have an assistant here to translate in the comments, so you'll understand what the question was. I'll answer in English. Is that how we're gonna do it? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, so 皆さんこんにちは。今日は参加してくれてありがとうございます。ベノム化されたキャプテンアメリカのインクとカラーを、今回お見せしたいと思います。今日は主に英語になるかもしれませんが、もし質問などありましたら自由に英語で日本語でコメントしてください。ではよろしくお願いします。Okay, so pencils are done. Here you go. Captain America and Venom, and I didn't have room for his logo on his chest here, so I thought it would be kind of cool to put it on the shield, as you can see here. Hopefully it'll turn out well. Okay, so just a few things about my tools. Pencil is like any mechanical pencil. I use B. I don't like to use lead that's too soft because it tends to, I press pretty hard, so it tends to break. And so the B is like, I've used HB before, but then it kind of scores the paper. So I found that B works best for me. And I have had experience using like just a traditional pencil and sharpening it every so often, but I find like this is much more efficient for how I work. So it's the pencil. Inking tools for my pages, I usually use a G pen, a Zebra G pen, and so that's a dipping pen, and it gets really good line width, and it's something I love using for the characters. My backgrounds are usually done with these Micron Pigma pens. So if you can find these in a craft store, I really recommend buying these. They come in a whole bunch of different thicknesses and everything, so they're very good for really, we call it detail-oriented backgrounds, shading, cross-hatching, and the great thing is they dry pretty quickly. It's pretty instantaneous, so you can like erase right after you ink it. So I'm a big fan of these. For spotting blacks, I found that these two markers, I don't know, what is this? It says Pilot Super Pucci, and this is the thick kind. I can't see it. Oh, this way. And I use these mainly because the ink in here is the same color as these, the same shade. So on the original pages, there isn't much variance on the black. So this is why I use these. And these dry quickly as well. So, so these are the inking tools I use mostly. And then, of course, colors I'll get into towards the end are basically, I use Copics. And I've bought a whole bunch of them. I use the one with the brush end, the round brush end, so it's soft and I can get different textures and different line widths. And I do have a set of square-headed ones. Konnichiwa. And they work to kind of block in areas, but I like these for their sort of brushy, textural way they color. So anyway, okay, so we'll start inking now. The weather's been pretty crappy in Tokyo, so hopefully it'll brighten your day to just watch me ink a little bit. Okay, so starting with the thick outer lines, I'll use this is 8 millimeters. So here we go. A lot of the inking is just kind of instinct. Of course, you know, you're taught heavier lines should be for the outlines or things that are in the foreground. But you know, that rule doesn't always work. So yeah, I really don't know what other advice to give. It's just instinctual. I try not to you know, have the same width for everything. So even if something isn't in the foreground, I will just make it thicker or thinner. ありがとうございます。I'll periodically zoom in a little bit so you can get a bit more detail. Yeah, we're thinking of having music in the background, but then we Googled how the rights and stuff works, and so there is a possibility of being canceled or you know, or the stream being halted. So we decided not to put any music on. So we're just gonna have to settle with my beautiful voice for this stream. We'll probably think of something in the background for a later stream, but for this one, our first one, we're just kind of getting the technical stuff out of the way, and hopefully we can, you know, at least once a month, and at the end of the month, we can do a stream for you guys. Hey, thanks for coming on my stream. Peter, 残します。大丈夫です。Yes. We'll try to make this edit it into another video for later viewing. Maybe shorten it, you know, edit it down a little bit. We'll see what happens. Yeah, thank you. Oops. Okay, gotta zoom out a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so I've been told to talk more. I don't really know what to talk about. If anybody has any recommendations for like TV shows lately, I do have a Netflix account, but there's nothing new that's been out, so it's been tough working because I usually like have YouTube and stuff open, but I think I've hit my YouTube limit for watching like I usually watch like old TV shows on YouTube, so like Twilight Zone episodes, Tales from the Crypt, stuff like that. But I've kind of watched everything like 3 times over. So if anybody has any recommendations for things, new things that have come out, I'd appreciate it. I tried watching The Sinners, or The Sinner or something on Netflix. It was okay. It was nice seeing what's his name? I always remember him as the president from Independence Day. I still remember his speech he made when he was rallying the troops to beat the aliens or something. But yeah, it was okay. Like, I got past the first episode. Yeah, How to Get Away with Murder. I think I watched like the first season. I don't really remember much from it. But I'll give it another try. I've been really in the mood for like a really good horror movie. Stranger Things. Yes, I've watched 3 seasons now, is it? It was good. First season was great. Second season, and then third season it came back for me, so I enjoyed the third season. Yeah, the set design and everything is so good in that. It takes me back to like when I was growing up. Okay, so I'm doing my best to center it here. If I get off course, just let me know in the comments. My assistant is in the other room. It's not me. Yeah, I was really looking forward to Christopher Nolan movie, Tenet. That was supposed to come out, and they keep pushing it back. I did get big gamer. I don't have much time to play games recently, which sucks. But I did get The Last of Us 2. I didn't realize the whole controversy behind everything with that game, but played it, finished it. Have you watched? What part of the work does your assistant take care of? I don't have an assistant. If I like on occasion, I've had assistants to do backgrounds, but really like once or twice in the last 10 years or so, I think. Most of the work I do by myself. It's just kind of faster and I can do exactly what I need to do, and I can kind of schedule my time more efficiently that way. But if I did have an assistant, yeah, it'd be nice to have like a full-time background assistant. Someone does the scanning and touching up on Photoshop. That would be nice. But for now, I'm doing everything by myself. Have you watched the She-Ra? No, I haven't. Is this like a cartoon? Okay, yeah, so Last of Us 2. So I'm assuming all the hate was with the secondary character. I didn't like that character at first, but then, she grew on me a lot, and by the end I understood the whole storytelling aspect of why they did that. So I thought it was really good. I mean, of course, the visuals and the gameplay was amazing. So, oh, it is a cartoon. Oh, okay. I'll check it out. Thanks. Okay, so we've got the basic lines down. So going to 5 mil. Pull that a little bit. No, actually, I should pull it. Here we go. I think the next game I will get is Ghost of Tsushima, and I think that's coming out next month, I believe. Looking forward to like samurai action. Although I never finished Sekiro. It was too difficult for me. Sorry, trying to keep this centered. Okay. Gotta look at some reference again. The Cap's suit keeps changing in every movie, so it's hard to kind of keep track of his uniform. Okay. Oh, thanks, man. Canada. Yeah, I was supposed to visit my parents in April. They live in a suburb of Toronto. And of course, like the whole COVID thing happened, so I wasn't able to go back. But hopefully, like in the fall or something, I can go see them. I miss Harvey's. Glove. What the hell's going on with the glove? Okay. No. I was a huge Tim Horton fan for a long time. Longest time I would get like a medium double. It was great. But then I kind of, I got into like grinding my own coffee and stuff, and I don't think I could ever go back. I do like the Boston cream donut though, still. And Timbits. I get Timbits when I go back, but not the coffee. Sorry. Zoom out a bit more. Okay. What's going on with this guy's pants? There's like pockets everywhere. Okay. Okay, boots. I gotta be careful with the blacks here. I don't want to get too black. Okay, just filling in some black just to get the feel of it. It kind of helps me get motivated. Sometimes you lose the drawing and you don't know what the hell you're doing. So, okay. think this is looking all right. Looking okay so far. Oh, should zoom out again. Here we go. Okay. Okay. Oh, thanks. Yeah. So I ate Korean barbecue yesterday, which is good. Yeah, I don't know what the quarantine situation is where you are, but Tokyo's been pretty lax. There's never been anything like completely shut down. So I've been able to get a haircut whenever I wanted. You know, of course, grocery shopping and stuff, they all stayed open. Restaurants, I'm pretty sure, like places to drink, they closed down. I know that. Now I think everything's open, but there was a period of time when they closed early. So that was the extent of the quarantine here. It helps that, you know, we never got hit with like crazy numbers, like in the thousands or anything. So it's been relatively consistently safe here, which is great. I hope everyone's staying safe. I'm gonna try adding some veins and do this. It's looking okay. Okay. I've been told to talk more. I don't know what to talk about. My life is not that interesting. So, someone wants to know if I'll ever show my face. Eventually, I think. I think we're gonna do like an interview format or something. So I'll do sort of an interview, just kind of talk about myself. We still haven't figured out where to do it. So like, if we do it at home, there's not a really good spot to do it, and the studio is kind of messy. But I think eventually we'll do it at the studio, and we'll have like sort of like meet the artist kind of talk in the future. But for now, I just kind of want to focus on the art. Cause then I gotta get new clothes and stuff. I just have ratty t-shirts. huge fan of your work. If only since Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane. What are some of the biggest influences? Oh, thank you. Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane. I drew that pretty much at the beginning of my career. It was really fun. Sean McKeever, amazing writer. It's probably one of my best memories of working with Marvel so far. I mean, I love working on big books like Spider-Gwen and the upcoming Silk and stuff, but yeah, Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane was a very special book for me. Biggest influences. I think when I was growing up, my parents bought a lot of manga for me because my dad would go on business trips to Japan, so it was more of like a language learning tool for my parents to have me constantly reading Japanese. So at that time they bought me like I don't know if you know, like Doraemon and like things aimed more for kids. So I love the simplicity of the art and the fact that you could like mimic it quite easily if you're a kid, you know, it's not that complicated. So that kind of started getting me to draw basically. And if you don't know Doraemon, like just Google Doraemon and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's basically like circles and squares, and it's very minimalistic art, but I love it. It's like it's so simple and beautiful. Hey Alan. But then ever since like I got into like I guess junior high school level, I started reading Jump because I could buy Jump comics downtown Toronto. There was like a Japanese grocery store called Sanko, and so they used to sell Jump completely overpriced. It was like 3 times the normal price, but you know, I couldn't help myself. I had to go downtown and like spend all my hard-earned paper route money on buying Jump. And so through buying that stuff, you know, I got into like Dragon Ball and what else? Like Kinnikuman, Ultimate Muscle, I guess, for people in North America. And that art too, it's not like super complicated, right? So I could mimic it and kind of create my own comics. And I used to do that, like, you know, when you go to public school and they give you those like neon colored lined books and for like practicing writing, and consistently at the end of the year you don't use those up. So then I would cut out the pages that I wrote stuff down in and then use that as kind of lines for my panels for my comic that I would eventually draw in them. And so I still have them at home actually in Toronto. And I might I might bring some back if next time I'm home. But then yeah, I would use those like, is this Scholastic or something? I don't know, like those lined lined paper books to draw like really crude like Dragon Ball mimic comics. So I would say that was like my earliest sort of becoming a comic artist. That's when I started, you know, drawing panels, not just illustrations. And then from there, like I remember when my older brother rented Akira from the library. I know it's crazy, right? And I watched it for the first time, and it was kind of a a revelation for me to watch that movie. And from there, I watched a lot of like anime based or aimed at more adult people. So, and I got into like Ghost in the Shell and stuff. And, yeah, it was great. Hilroy, yes, that's right. That's Gushi. So yeah, my current influences. I had a huge period of Ghost of or is it Blade of the Immortal. So Samura, I really loved his art for a long time. I've moved away from sketchier, sort of like rough looking art to something a bit more refined. So currently I'm looking more at like Stuart Immonen, and I've always loved Bacho, so I always really like his art. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Aaron. But to be honest with you, I haven't really read as many comics lately. I should, you know, you should always keep looking when you're, even if you're professional. I really loved, what was it? I Am a Hero. I really loved that book, but the art is like so technical for me that you know, I can't really use it as sort of an art basis, but like the storytelling and like how he creates characters and stuff is quite amazing. So I recommend. It's a zombie book, by the way. It's like a realistic zombie book. Oh, thanks, Aaron. If they ever do like a remake, I would totally be on board for that. Real Ghostbusters and Power Rangers. Tsunami at the US. I was 11. Gundam and Cowboy Bebop. Yes, I got into US comics shortly after. Yeah, I was too old for Cowboy Bebop when that was on Toonami. Yeah. I was in college and I didn't really have time to like invest in anime and manga around that time, and I was busy drawing sidekicks in university, so and drinking, so a lot of my time was focused on those things. I wish I was a bit younger so I could have got on the Pokemon and Digimon craze. I think I would have really loved that, but where can you find my recent work? I was supposed to draw, well, I drew a few issues of Silk that was supposed to be relaunched next month, but then because of the delays at Diamond and everything, it's been put on hold. So for now, I do plan to get back to that series, to a new Silk relaunch, but for in terms of comic work, I haven't been doing any comic work. I'm doing more storyboarding and illustration and stuff within Japan mostly. So I'll keep you guys updated on when I get back to comics. Oh, Anka, yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, I drew like just a short thing for Runaways like a couple years ago, and just looking at his art and stuff is like, holy shit, it's really just so precise. Oh, thanks, Alan. Just wait till the colors. It's coming. Oh, of course. Yeah, so I remember going back to Akira. So I watched the movie, and then I wanted to get the books. I wanted to get the comic books, but you know, like I live in like the suburbs of Toronto, so luckily there was an old comic book store I used to go as a kid, GNU Books. They had two locations, one in Oshawa and one in Ajax, and so sorry, have you done any video game art? Did designs, I think, once, and mostly storyboarding for video games. So both the Resident Evil remakes, I was able to do storyboards on that, which is really fun. I really liked doing non-comic work because I get to meet new people and, you know, work on franchises that, you know, I loved when I was a kid growing up. And I loved Resident Evil, so I couldn't, you know, I couldn't say no. But I'm not much of a designer. Like, it'd be great to like design, maybe like what do you call it, like promotional art and stuff. But I think as a freelancer, it wouldn't work to work as a character unless you're employed by a video game company, and I prefer just being freelance. So yeah. But yeah, back to Akira. So they in GNU Books they sold the old like Epic Comics. It was like a offshoot of Marvel, and they colorized Akira, and so then they sold them in little like books that were like about that thick, and like the paper was really thick, and so I tried to collect as many of those as I could, and I remember my sister, my younger sister, who never went to GNU Books in her life, she went and got them for me for my birthday and stuff, and for Christmas. That was really nice of her. And back then it was like a musty old like your stereotypical comic book store that only like nerdy guys go to. So 3D art, I want to do that eventually, but teaching myself has been very hard to do. Yeah, I dabbled in like what was it, SketchUp and stuff, and I was using it for my backgrounds, but I found yeah, I couldn't get it. I am like a traditional artist, so even like trying to teach myself was it Manga Studio or going digital has been difficult for me. But I know what you mean. Like if I eventually went digital, I think I would be much more efficient with my art, my work. And I do want to. I was gifted a Cintiq a little while ago, so it was my first step towards going digital. So I plan to try a little harder this year. The movie first too, yeah. I was in the Air Force for a while, and when my enlistment was over, a couple of my buddies bought me all the mangas, going away gift. Like the original black and white stuff? Because, yeah, I prefer black and white. You can see like every detail in the black and white art. I went to, they had a Akira original pages exhibit like years ago in Tokyo, and I went to that, and oh my god, it was amazing. It was like original pages, of course they're original pages, but like that page where that explosion is initially happening in Tokyo was there, the spread, and that was quite inspirational for me to see that. Yeah, nice. I'm not much of a collector. I don't really collect original art from friends or anything, but if those pages ever went on sale, I wouldn't care how much it were. I would buy one. And like, oh my gosh, like barely any edits on the pages, so no whiteout, no nothing. Everything was so precise. It was just crazy to see. Okay, it's looking all right. How am I doing for time? Ooh, almost an hour. Okay. How do you think you've improved over the years style-wise? I look back at my old stuff, I feel like my heads and stuff were too big back then, and like my eyes are too big, and like things. I don't know why that was happening. I'm not sure, but I feel like I've gotten a bit more realistic. I still have, my instincts are more for manga and like, Ghost in the Shell and Akira and stuff. So things are a bit more stylized, but I feel like my faces, especially, like the eyes have gotten smaller and stuff. And I think I've improved with my compositions. So I think those aspects of my work have greatly improved since I started. Sketch for me that was pretty mind-blowing, how he goes straight to ink. Oh yeah, that guy's crazy. He's not a good example for learning, but yeah, his finished pieces are like, pretty much like paintings. I mean, yeah, he uses a brush, so it's fine art. Art's done. Now it's changed into books. Yeah, Runaways. Yeah, it was good. I think it was my first team book, to be honest with you. I'm used to like just drawing one character at a time, so I remember it was quite difficult to balance like the 5 to 6 characters on each page all the time. But it was fun. It was great working with Brian and drawing. I got to draw Cloak and Dagger, which I loved when I was a kid. So at least like great memories. I feel very fortunate to be able to work on those. The old artwork and art system, yeah. Yes, the proportions are more realistic. Yes. I think another thing, like I was used to drawing a lot of motion. Zoom out? Okay. There we go. A lot of motion in the work, so, blurred limbs and things like that early on. I think I'm more comfortable doing like the static North American style recently, so I've been trying to consciously do that a bit more. Pay attention to lighting, I guess. My main colorist in Marvel has been Ian Herring for the longest time, like Miss Marvel, and I think pretty much everything I've done since then has been Ian, which is he's amazing. So I've consciously tried to incorporate his style of coloring into how I draw, and allowing for him to experiment more with lighting. So that's another aspect of my work I think I've changed a little bit. It's looking okay. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna get to fine details now. Let's see. Has anyone asked you to draw something so that they can get it tattooed? A weird question, but I was curious. Not that I know of. I think I saw like a Molly tattoo that was based on like a variant cover I did a long time ago, online somewhere. But that's the extent of it. I think it'd be cool to see it if anyone's interested. I myself I'm against needles. Don't like needles, so I don't think I could ever get a tattoo. But if anyone is interested in getting my tattoo, it'd be nice to see. Okay. Oh, Wonder Woman? There's a tattoo? Was it? Oh, on Reddit. Yeah, so I drew like a Wonder Woman commission a long time ago. And I think on Reddit, someone posted it as a tattoo. So I guess that would be my second example. Yeah, sure, cool. Okay. Looks pretty cool. I think colors soon. If anyone has a request for a future stream or anything, please feel free. I have 2 drawings I have to do lined up, but after that, like, I'm pretty open to suggestions. So if you have anything that you'd like to see me draw, please put it in the comments. Okay, here we go. Madoka. I tried to do a sequel to that. It was like a self-published doujinshi, but maybe in the future, yeah. Thanks for the suggestion. TC Punchline. New character, right? I don't really know anything about her. She looks cool. Definitely consider it. Sorry, I'll zoom in for this. Yeah, I get asked Batmans every so often, which I really enjoy drawing, so maybe a Batman in the future. Kaneda with the laser gun, yeah. Definite possibility. I'll keep a note of these. Oh, sorry. There you go. Yeah. Okay, sorry, centering. Yeah, I centered it. Yep. Yeah, they're very smooth. They're very versatile too. So you could like layer them and get like a deeper color where you need to. Sort of like almost like a watercolor aspect to them. And they're alcohol, but they don't smell. So I mean, they're like really well made. Zoom out a bit more. Not too bad. I have a grayscale set that runs out quite quickly because I was doing black and white commissions a lot. So I bought replacement ink for that. But for the colors, I use like when I was doing a lot of Miss Marvel commissions, those colors were fading a lot. So I'm considering getting replacements for that. But otherwise, they last quite a long time. And like another, they're not messy. You don't need to like carry around water to wash your brushes or anything. So, I mean, yeah, there's no better choice for colors when you're at a convention or something. Since where the highlights go. Oh, thanks. Just like repetition, right? Like, I don't know how else to explain it really. I think I just try to leave a little bit when I color, and regardless if I'm gonna fill that in or not, it's better to leave something white than to regret coloring everything in and not being able to go back. So I guess that's kind of how I feel things out. Have you managed to maintain your clients since the pandemic? Not grow, but the people I used to work with have been in touch, which is great. There's industries that have kind of stopped, like comic stuff, and then there's industries like video games which have just continued like normal. So that's why I'm focusing more on storyboarding work right now, and like doing stuff for myself. So I don't know if you guys know, like I've been making pins and more sort of like accessory type stuff. So I've been doing that. So with that stuff, I don't need to answer to anybody, so that's great. Oh. And to be honest, it's been nice to take a break from comics for a little while. Comics it's quite stressful being on a monthly book, like drawing 10 to 12 hours a day, constantly being worried about your deadlines, not being able to do anything or go anywhere. So in that respect, it's been kind of a nice break for me. Although it sucks not having a book out every month, you know. It's nice to be able to interact with people about my work on a regular basis, but, you know, I guess, you know, just take the good with the bad. It's looking all right. Okay. Would you draw any Star Wars character but in your style of drawing? I would, yes. Who would you like to see? Hello, Captain Cornetto. What's one genre or style of story you haven't done that you'd like to take a shot at? Horror, fantasy? I'm a big horror fan, so I'd love to do like a horror story. Yeah, I guess that would be my number one request if I were to ask a publisher. Big sci-fi fan as well, so yeah, I'd love to do sci-fi. I would do Star Wars, any character in a horror theme. Like, I recently watched Invisible Man, and that was an amazing mix of horror and more modern sort of slice of life stuff, right? So, I mean, that would be an ideal project, I think, being able to do sci-fi with sort of a modern twist. Nothing that's like too spaceshipy or aliens or anything like that, but more like down-to-earth type stuff. I don't know what time it is in your place, but ohayou. It is currently 1:10 in the afternoon. We tried to pick the best time where people will be awake in Asia and North America. So any future streams, we'd like to kind of keep the schedule, I think. Darth Maul. わかりました. Darth Maul. I think I will do Darth Maul in the future. Any tips of breaking through drawing plateaus? Hello from Tokyo. Drawing plateaus. I think sometimes when I'm in what do you call it? When I'm, what do you call this? A rut. Drawing a rut. I would just stop drawing. Just do something else. That's like go out for a walk or watch a movie or just stop drawing for like a day or two. And you know, you gotta kind of miss drawing for a little bit, I think, and then it'll get you motivated again. So that's my tip. Another thing is just to go see other people's work. Try to get inspired by you know, new styles of drawing or something that you're not good out of your comfort zone, and if you're like a realistic drawer, see something that's a little more abstract, you know. So I think those two things help me out a lot, so that would be my suggestion. Otherwise, I know that this is hard to do, but just drawing completely differently. So maybe completely copy something that you like or another artist's art. You know, tracing is, you know, it's always been sort of an aspect of learning. So, where's the black? So yeah, even if it's for like a few hours, just try to mimic some art that you're inspired by. That could work too. I think one last thing I would suggest is just being able to be critical of your own work. A lot of times, you know, you get very comfortable with your work and your process and how you sort of problem solve while you draw a comic or draw an illustration. So kind of stepping back and trying to see it from another person's eyes, I think, is very important. It's something to easily overlook as well. So, and you know, like you can't always be second guessing yourself. You know, that's not good either. But time to time, it's good to kind of sit back and kind of see it from the perspective of who you're drawing it for, and kind of, what do you call it? Sort of breaking down what's the strength in your art and what you could do to make it better, if that makes any sense. Currently studying the older comic artists like Ron Lim and Mark Bagley. I look for influences. The old, yeah, Mark Bagley's good. He's a bit stiff for me. I liked more fluid art, something that's a little more organic. Who did the early American stuff, I can't remember. I didn't really read too many superhero books when I was growing up, other than my older brother had a lot of them, so I don't know the artists' names, but like, I really enjoyed early, like, what was it? Early X-Men stuff. I remember seeing it was really cool. I did talk about this a little earlier in the stream, so maybe go back once we publish the footage. But so my early influences more were like Dragon Ball, like so Toriyama and Akira, and like Ultimate Muscle, like the wrestling comic, so stuff like that. So that's stuff that was a bit more exaggerated and a bit more abstract. Sorry if it doesn't answer your question. Okay. Yeah. Okay, 15 more minutes. Is there a time limit on this? No. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to try to wrap up in about 10 to 15 minutes, so let's try to speed this up. Yeah, sure. I would love to draw Kamala. There's actually one commission that's waiting for Kamala, so I will draw her. Maybe not. I'm not sure if I can do it on stream, but definitely you'll see a process video at the very least. But I'll try to make it a stream for sure. Yeah, I miss drawing Miss Marvel. She's awesome. I'm really looking forward to the new game that's coming up. She's like a pretty major role in that game, so. It was like the trailers and stuff. It's great to see her powers realized in like real time. So like her arms stretching and growing and stuff. That was really cool. Thanks, man. Hi, カマルちゃん書きます。Okay, blue goes here. And it's silver, so I'll use a lighter blue. Right. Okay. This red. I think it might be too bright. Maybe this one. Yeah. Yeah, they're just excited that I mentioned Kamala. It's too dark. in the end game, people. Almost finished. It's looking all right. Refueling my grayscale. Thanks, man. Alright, I'm gonna add some highlights. I'm still on the search for a really good highlighting pen. I'm not really happy with these ones I have, so if anybody has any suggestions, they kind of don't cover the colors all that well. So, I mean, like, when I say color the colors, I mean, they get kind of, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It gets like a weird sort of double line when I'm adding this. I kind of want a solid dot, but it's not solid, so I guess I have to experiment more. Damn it. This one. Zoom in for this. So make it look nice and shiny. Jelly Roll white gel pens, and they have the same issue sometimes. I'd love to know if there's better. Yeah, you know what I mean, right? Like, it's not a solid white that's being drawn. It's kind of like a. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it comes out really well, but it's not very consistent. So. Yeah. I do go every so often, but then there's so many, and like I do buy like I've gone through like 10 of them easily, just to experiment, but still haven't found the right one. But yes, Sekaido is like an amazing art store. I recommend anybody who is looking for just like a nice pen or something to go. There's multiple locations. I don't think I've ever used the jelly roll though, so I'll check that out. Thanks for the suggestion. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. Okay, I think that's it. Oh wait, down here. Looks pretty good. If I do say so myself. Yeah. Venomized Captain America. Signature. What's the date today? 28th. 06 28 2020. Thank you. So I'll scan this and I'll put it up on my Instagram. Thanks guys. ありがとうございます. And my Twitter and stuff, so you can see a high-res image of it. But yeah, I think it looks all right. Okay, so I really enjoyed the stream. Thank you for watching. Well, I'll try to do this once a month, probably towards the end of the month. If I don't have a video to update with on a Friday, I will try to do a live stream instead. So I'll definitely keep you guys in the loop and updated. But in the meantime, thank you. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate all the comments. It was great to talk with you guys. But yeah, it was like an hour and a half. I think that was a good time too. It's not too long, not too short. Okay. So yeah, have a nice day, guys.